Good day, this is Teacher Cyrus and welcome to my channel. Today we will discuss another set of questions coming from professional education. Hindi na natin patatagalin pa, we will start our discussion. Question number 1, how is so-called colonial mentality manifested? A. Cultural relativism, B. Ethnocentrism, C. Cultural diversity, or letter D. Xenocentrism. And the question mainly focus on colonial mentality. Ibig sabihin, mas binigyan niya ng importansya ang ibang kultura kaysa sa sarili niyang kultura. Is it letter A, cultural relativism? Cultural relativism meaning that merong pagkakapareho sa bawat kultura. That is cultural relativism. Letter B, ethnocentrism, meaning mas binigyan niya ang importansya ang kanyang sariling kultura. That is ethnocentrism. Or centers his or her own culture. Letter C is cultural diversity. It talks about na pagkikiisa sa kultura or kahit magkakaiba ang kultura ng isang komunidad, but through cultural diversity, so merong pagkakaunawaan. Or letter D, xenocentrism. Xenocentrism, which means na kanyang meron siyang he neglects his own culture and adapts to a new one. So, ibig sabihin, hindi niya tinangkilik ang kanyang sariling kultura. Bagkus, kanyang tinangkilik ang ibang kultura. That's why the correct answer is letter D, xenocentrism. Kasi tinatawag rin niyang colonial mentality. Number 2, it illustrates how a portion of the data relates with the whole. Is it letter A, pie graph, B, bar graph, C, line graph, or D, rectangle graph? Wala nang iba. The correct answer is pie graph kasi data that relates with the whole. So, alam naman natin that pie graph is composed with circle and then slice, meron siyang, the circle was sliced based on the percentage of the said proportion. So, that's why letter A is the correct answer. Number 3, which thought activity or cognitive ability is tested in essay question? Using Christian ethics, how can population control be managed? A. Relating cause and effect, B. Application, C. Justifying, or letter D. Summarizing. The question talks about cognitive ability is tested. Kaya from the word essay pa lang, so it means that the answer is based on his or her own understanding or his own opinion. That's why that was the focus of the question. Is it letter A, relating cause and effect? Relating cause and effect, it means that it is not an essay question. So it talks about judgment or you. So, relating cause and effect, maybe kamukha niya ang research kasi meron siyang cause, meron siyang sanhi, at merong bunga. So, that is mainly scientific. Letter B, application. Alam naman natin na the question is talks about cognitive ability. Ginamit ang Christian ethics. It is not mainly on application, but it talks about testing Christian ethics. So that's why application is not the correct answer kasi is a question. So hindi main discussion. So that's why application is not accepted. Or is it letter C, justifying? Alam naman natin that opinion is based on our own justification. So may binigyan mo ng opinion you give opinion on Christian ethics based on what you've observed. So that is mainly justifying. That's why letter C is the correct answer, justifying. If we will say summarizing, so it talks about summarizing a topic. That is number 3. The correct answer is letter C, justifying. Number 4, the teacher begins to use technology tools to deliver curriculum content to the system. Is it letter A, transformation, B, adoption, C, active, or letter D, entry? The question mainly focus, the keyword is begin. So, syempre, nagsisimula pa lang, that's why transformation is not the correct answer. Kasi, if we will say transformation, it means na bago na talaga lahat. So, the curriculum is fully focused on technology. So, that is transformation. But the question is the teacher begins to use. So, that's why transformation is not accepted as the answer. Letter B, adoption. So, adoption, it means na nagsimula siyang umadapt or he go with the trend. So, syempre, alam naman natin that technology is mainly focused on this century, as mainly that technology is clearly improving, and also through the improvement of technology, so it can be of great use if we will use it in our education curriculum. That is adoption. Letter C, active. So it means that the question is active, but the question is begins to use. So it does not talk about how improved the technology was. So that's why pwede tayong sumagot ng active, but the question is begins to use technology. So that's why letter C is not accepted also. Letter D, entry. Entry or nagsimula pa lang. That's why either letter B or letter D ang tamang sagot. But the question is begins to use. So, syempre, ibig sabihin, if begins to use, so, nagsimula siyang umadapt sa technology as the way to deliver curriculum in the system. That's why adoption is the correct answer. Kasi, adoption, which means na ginamit niya ang technology kaysa entry. For example, entry. Merong bagong labas na cellphone. So, that is entry. But, hindi pa siya ginamit ng sambayanan. But, bagong dating siya. So, that's why adoption is the correct answer. Kasi, begins to use. So, it does not mean na bago pa lang. So, bago pa lang gamitin. But, the question is, focus on nagsimula siya gumamit ng technology, or if we will translate it in Filipino. So, meaning, ginamit na niya ang teknolohiya, but not fully. So, that's why adoption is the correct answer. Number 5, for John Dewey, what is the unifying element of the curriculum? Is it letter A, reflective thinking, B, course discipline, C, experiential learning, or letter D, pedagogy in learning? Letter B, course discipline. It means that grouping of courses that share common academic preparation. The best example for course discipline is masteral education. So, Master of Arts, meron ganyan. That is course discipline. The best example for course discipline also is through college. For example, College of Education. So, that is different course discipline. Kasi, that particular education mainly focus on education or theories or psychologies that are being useful in teaching students. That is course discipline. And then, if we will talk about engineering, so iba din ang courses or ang academic preparation na ginamit for engineers. So, that's why the course discipline for engineers are different for the course discipline of teachers. That is letter B. Letter C, experiential learning. It means that learning from experience. Through experience, you can learn. And by the way, the proponents of experiential learning is John Dewey, Kurt Lewin, and also John Piaget. That is experiential learning. But David Kolb is the one who who is the new proponent of the experiential learning. Pinagsama-sama niya ang iba't ibang theories and observations na ginamit ni Dewey, ni Lewin, at saka ni Piaget. So that is experiential learning. Letter D is pedagogy in learning. As we all know that pedagogy is the art of teaching and learning. But the question is pedagogy. Letter D is pedagogy in learning. So meaning, gumawa ng iba't ibang pamamaraan ng guro to cater the needs of the students. But the question is, what is the unifying element of the curriculum? So alam na natin ang iba't ibang importansya ng choices. So letter A, is it letter A, reflective thinking? Is it letter B, course discipline? Is it letter C, experiential learning? Or is it letter D, pedagogy in learning? So meaning, the best answer is reflective thinking. So bakit? Kasi reflective thinking is the process of making judgments. So for example, experiential learning. So through experiential learning, how can you learn about your experience without reflecting the experience that you've encountered? That's why reflective thinking and also experiential learning is not effective without the aid of reflective thinking. And also, course discipline. So, without the presence of reflective thinking, so paano magkakaisa ang disciplines if without the reflective thinking? So, that's why that is reflective thinking also. And also, how can you make an effective classroom strategies without the aid of reflective thinking? So that's why the unifying element of curriculum is mainly focused on reflective thinking. So the education is clearly improving, so because of reflective thinking. So that's why the correct answer is reflective thinking. I do hope that you learned something about this video. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button so that you will be updated to my future videos. So our next please do watch our next video will be mainly focused on the foundations of education. So don't forget to comment down below about your suggestions upang atin yang we will discuss it in our future videos. Thank you and God bless us all.